Yo.
As an evaluator, my responsibility is to include the speaker's project, body language, eye contact. There's a lot of metrics. But today, for the sake of time, I'm focusing on two major things that the speaker would like me to evaluate upon. Number one is the use of presentation tool. Number two is the story itself. That will be my entire evaluation for the next few minutes about. I'll start with the use of the software. When it comes to deciphering a broad topic such as AI, it's important to have something visual. What I really liked about Jesper is he had images to convey messages, but there's a catch here. It was a clickbaity image which was too complex to decipher. And why would I say that? You had lots of numbers, and there was a graph. It caught by a lot of data in the slide. I would like Jesper, the speaker, to focus on where in the slide should I pay my attention to? Is it the number one on the top, to the corner, to the bottom? And like the approach, emphasize on what the audiences need to focus on. Number two is Jesper had a really good topic. Last chance to become great. I really like the idea of actually setting the tone. But the question he started with, the first question I was not able to hear properly. Second question, yes. There are totally 5 to 6 questions. As a speaker, when you deliver any speech, powerful, impactful, you promise the audience at the end of every speech to take away something, a message. As a speaker, I really encourage Jesper to focus on the end in mind. What I would like as a speaker to leave the audience with. And that leaves us to the curve of every story. You start with the beginning. The beginning sets the stage, sets the tone for the story. And then you build up the connection with a lot of conflicts. This is where Jesper was not clear what the conflict was. And then the third stage is the climax. Now, climax is what it unfolds. The last one is a powerful message. I see as an evaluator, Jesper had touched upon some of them, but not fulfilled the entire story, which makes the story unable to follow up throughout. The end in mind is what Jesper really needs to think if he wants to keep the audience engaged throughout the story. I really liked his confidence on stage. And he is an experienced Toastmaster. He likes to be on stage and explain a lot of stuff. I would, as a valued member, encourage Jesper to focus on the end in mind and have clarity in what he wants to deliver to the audience. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank God I'm with the cheeks word. Thank God I'm with the cheeks word.
So today I'm going to interview two politicians, starting with one of the youngest politicians who stands for cheaper, affordable housing. And why does it matter? As an international, I would always want to know where my municipal tax goes into. I pay close to 24-25% of municipal tax, and that impacts the society. That actually goes into building up the infrastructure, roads, and all these things that I see around me. I wanted to ask a politician who stands for it, who stands for something that I really have in mind, and also you as internationals. It would be interesting to see some of the basic terms, all these where to look for, and what these politicians have to offer, and pay attention to what the political party has in mind for internationals. How does it affect you as an international, me as an international? We're going to watch this in this interview.
Early in the morning, late at night. It don't even matter what time it is. I will wait for you. Presidential roller, RM, wait.
In the next few minutes, I'm going to interview one of the youngest candidates in Denmark. His name is Emil, and he's going to talk about some practical information for internationals to know.
Need to tell a real one exactly what it is. Don't say it cause you know that's why I wanna hear.
I will wait for you. I will wait for you.
Thank you so much for the interview, Emil.
Yeah.
Let's start with a very basic question. Introduce yourself, Emil, to us.
My name's Emil, and I've been living in Copenhagen for about, I think, 13 or 14 years. And now I'm a member of the local city council. And I'm a member because I want more equality in Copenhagen, and I want a greener Copenhagen. So that's what I fight for, basically.
When did you start getting into elections? You look young. Can I ask your age?
Yeah, of course. I'm 31. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but people often I've heard before that I have some kind of baby face, but I'm actually
no.
31, and I've been interested in politics since I think around when I was 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years.
Okay.
So for a long time.
What drew inspiration for you to get into politics?
I think I read about politics in the news, like in the newspapers, and I was very interested about how can we create more opportunities for more people. So that's actually probably why I remember when I was around the 15 years, I remember I read a lot of Politiken, so the big Danish newspaper Politiken, and I sort of got interested in climate and school politics, every kind of different themes, and then about 10 years went, and I thought, now I have to get into politics because this is really what I've been interested in. And you know, I like to play the piano, I like to do all kinds of crafts, but politics is the one thing that I've been interested in all the time in 15 years.
So being an international, I've been in this country for almost 7 years right now. It's a pity that I haven't really thought about getting to know about elections in Denmark. What is the difference between municipal and regional elections? And walk us through, like you think me as complete beginner, what is this election right now and what is it about?
Well, so the municipalities in Denmark, they have, I think, huge responsibilities. First of all, they have just to make this make sense, to get the proportions right. We collect around 25% of people's income in personal tax. So it goes to the municipality of Copenhagen.
So my salary is going to the municipality.
Yeah, about 1/4 of your salary goes to Copenhagen municipality.
Yes.
And we are responsible for the schools, and we are responsible for daycare. We are also responsible for how the city looks. So every time you have to create a new area in Copenhagen, you have to have a plan, and that plan it has to have a political stamp. So that's probably sort of the overall biggest responsibility. But then there are also, of course, culture and sport activity. That's also this responsibility for the municipality of Copenhagen. And we also try to make, at least our party tries to make the city more green. We have some possibilities there. I think we should have more. Also, just to point out one last thing that we have a huge responsibility regarding to, it's the way we regulate cars. So you pay an amount to have your car, so your car can be parked in Copenhagen municipality, and we can actually raise that amount. And we can make sure we want more places in Copenhagen to be for cars that you share together. So that's sort of the themes that we have influence on.
Okay. So I understood where my money goes in terms of, let's say, development of the roads and the facilities, schools and daycares and elderly cares that you mentioned, and also the parkings and cars. And, what do you personally care most about all? If you have to prioritize one thing, and that one thing you stand for, what is that?
It's affordable homes, first of all. So that's about what we make sure, like the plans we make, the plans containing the homes is politically approved. And we can control also to some degree what kind of homes it is. So affordable homes, that's also what my shirt says.
So it's a billiger nu.
Yeah.
Cheaper homes or apartments now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So that's the most important thing to me. Also because that is probably in this municipality what has stressed me out personally the most. A lot of people can't find a home, and they get too bad conditions when they try to find a home, or when they get a home, they get thrown out or something like that. Also, and that's the next thing, I want a city that is better for children, because I think that when we invest in good care for the children, we also invest in the most effective way to create opportunities for people on the long term.
So I've heard what you stand for in these elections, and in Danish, how do we call these elections? I know it's a municipal election.
Yeah.
How do we do it in Danish? Can we try?
We call it the kommunalvalg.
Kommunalvalg.
Yeah, so valg is like when you elect something, that means valg.
Yeah, vælge produkter. Choose products.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So like choose valg.
Okay.
Kommunalvalg. And kommunal, I guess that's a very weird word, probably. If you are an international citizen in Denmark, probably kommunal is a weird word, but it comes from kommuner. So Denmark is divided into 98 kommuner, and that's where the local stuff happens. So Copenhagen municipality, or you could say Københavns Kommune, that is the biggest kommune in Denmark.
In Denmark.
Yeah.
I come from I live in currently Gentofte.
Yeah.
So it's Gentofte Kommune.
Yeah.
And also there's neighboring Lyngby Kommune.
Yeah.
Also is
So
Gladsaxe. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gentofte, that's the richest kommune.
Do we really agree with that? I think the audience have to tell, is it Charlottenlund or Gentofte or Klampenborg? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It looks like really big.
That's rich areas.
That connects to your Pulia thing.
Yeah.
When you talk about affordable housing, are you talking about rental, or are you talking about the buying part of homes, or is it basically everything covering your?
It's actually everything. So we should have more affordable homes that people can own. We should also have more affordable renting homes, because a lot of people can only rent because maybe they don't earn enough to buy an apartment, or that's just the way their life is right now. So that's the way if you're a student, for example, you probably can't buy a home, so you have to rent, and you have to have good conditions.
True.
Yeah.
I think there's a student on the other side of the camera. She could really agree with that.
Yeah.
I've also faced this. I don't want to disclose my rent, but it's impossible to get into an apartment, a studio apartment, in the heart of Copenhagen, which I think is affordable. And the part of the thing is, I don't know if it's expensive, or I don't know if it's actually, I don't know how to put the scale. Who sets these numbers? Is it the apartment owner, or is it some sort of, is there a group that decides, association or?
So it's a private market that decides this. It's a private market that decides the prices. Sometimes they actually put the prices too high, so you can complain to huslejenævnet. So that's an institution where you can go to as a renter, and you can say, this rent is too high. And maybe they will say, if they look at the area and they can see that this is too high when we compare to other apartments in the area, maybe you can get the rent more low. But it's not all people that complain, and especially maybe international citizens in Denmark don't know that they can complain to this.
Yeah. So can you repeat the word?
It's huslejenævnet.
Huslejenævnet.
Yeah, so husleje, that's the rent you pay, and the nævnet is the institution.
Housing rent institution.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, housing rent institution is in Danish, it's called huslejenævnet.
Yeah.
Got it.
So just another, I think it's important knowledge actually. You can also be part of what is called Lejernes Landsorganisation.
Lejernes Landsorganisation is like the rental
national organization.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's sort of the renters union.
The tenant union or renters union.
Exactly, yeah. So if you got a rent that is very high, you can just, it's not very expensive to be part of this organization. So I can really recommend it if you got a rent that is very high, because they will support you if you think that you could maybe get a lower rent. Yeah.
Okay. And now that I know that there are institutions available, there's also a platform where I could actually raise complaint or address concerns.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where does your political notion stand here, and how you could support anybody, be it international, be it the locals?
Yeah.
Where do you stand in here? How does your party contribute to this?
Yeah.
If this is a
So,
situation.
yeah. We want to take more control of the market, actually.
Okay.
So
With
right
that
now,
being said, what does it mean?
it means it's too liberalized. The
Okay.
big problem is that you pay to the pension funds, and they just buy land from the municipality of Copenhagen. They buy it very expensively, and they rent it out extremely expensively. They rent out these apartments extremely expensively. So what we want to do is only sell the public grounds to those who will actually build the more affordable houses,
Okay.
or the more affordable apartments, of course.
Okay. Okay, I got
That's
it
sort
now.
of our overall policy. And also we want to make sure that a higher degree of those homes are almen boliger.
What does
So-
almen boliger mean?
So that's like a public housing is probably the term that comes close to the Danish term almen boliger.
Almen boliger.
So actually it's homes that are financed by the renters through a lot of decades. We all, when you live in an almen bolig, you some part of your rent goes to building other almen boliger.
Okay.
So there are no one making money from this in the private sector. It all stays in the hands of the people. And we can, as Copenhagen municipality, we can actually support the degree of homes that are almen boliger. We can support this degree in a way, so we can set the degree so it's a higher percentage. That's basically what I'm trying to say now. So actually in this election term, when we look at the Nordhavn, the new part of Copenhagen Nordhavn, before it only had to be 25% almen boliger. Now it's 40% almen boliger.
Okay.
And we actually want that percentage degree to become 50%. So half of the homes in Nordhavn should, we think, become almen boliger, because those are affordable homes.
Okay.
No one in the private sector makes at least a lot of money on the long term. Of course, there are entrepreneurs and contractors, you know, the guys and girls who build the stuff. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So to end this second part of the segment, I have a question. So as an international, there are certain things that we should be aware before moving to the country, and once we move to the country. Language has a key influence on this, because without language, I don't know what my rights are and what I need to do. So guide me as an international who's completely new to this country on, am I eligible to vote in this election? So what are the conditions for internationals? How can they be eligible to vote in an election for this cause, for example?
Yeah.
Let's start with, I'm a non-European.
Yeah.
I come from India.
Yeah.
What makes me eligible, and when can I become eligible to vote?
If you have been living in Copenhagen as a non-EU citizen, and if you have been living here and you have gotten a residence, either it's temporary or permanent, but if you have been living here for 4 years, you can vote for the local election.
Okay.
And if you are an EU citizen and you live in Copenhagen, you can actually vote immediately. So there are pretty liberal rules about voting for the local election. And very often I give out information folders to international citizens in Copenhagen, and then they say, sorry, I can't vote. And I have a small talk with them about this, because a lot of people actually don't know that they can vote.
That's also the case for me. I've lived in this country for almost 7 years. I've never taken this seriously.
No.
But now is the time for me to also reflect. What could be your final message, one message? Elections are coming in 17 days. What will be your message to audience watching this video, mostly internationals? That could be a pitch for what you stand for, or the value that you want to spread to internationals. Go ahead.
Well, definitely. I would like you, of course, just to be honest, to vote for me, because I will fight for affordable homes. And I think that's a very important thing for international citizens in Copenhagen. But what is at least also as important is that you vote in Copenhagen and you have very often the right to vote. And I know that a lot of a lot of international people in Denmark, international citizens in Copenhagen, they sometimes feel left out. And this is also a way to take part in democracy. I know the Danes could maybe be more welcoming, but this is also a way to get into the community and to know what's going on, and of course to get influence on the place where you live. And that's also a way to be part of Copenhagen, which I really want international citizens to feel like in Copenhagen, part of Copenhagen. I don't hope that was too much of a lesson. That was not the way
it was a good
meant.
lecture, but
Very good.
perfect. And Emil, thank you so much for the time and also clarifying some of the foundational questions that I have. And I at least can now to the audiences say that I had at least become some percentage aware about the local politics and what Emil stands for in specific, and also what is the housing market, the campaign that you're looking for. So there's been a good awareness for me in that way.
I also need to learn from international citizens.
Okay.
Danes also need to learn from international citizens. So you are about, I think there are 100,000 international citizens in Copenhagen who can actually vote. And we don't talk enough about you. And we need to make sure that your voice are heard and that we know what's important to you. And I have some kind of feeling that this thing about the housing market is important, especially for you, because you don't have a lot of context in Copenhagen necessarily when you come here. So you are often in a vulnerable position, just as young people are on the housing market. And that's why I really care about your voice in this election campaign and in the next many decades, of course.
I think that's well put. Yeah, that's good to hear as well.
Find your dreams come true. And I wonder if you know what it means, what it means. And I wonder if you know what it means, what it means. And I wonder if you know what it means to find your dreams. And I've been.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to interview the current mayor of Lyngby, Taarbæk, who is Sophia Osmani. I'm going to talk to her about, as an international, what are my rights in Denmark? Am I eligible to vote? Some of these fundamental questions. At the same time, I'm also talking about what it is to live in a country like Denmark, being an international. And I also have a lot of questions regarding her plans, her visions for this year and the coming years. And it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to this wonderful conversation. Can't wait to interview her.
And I wonder if you know what it means.
Not something I voted for, actually.
Oh.
I voted against it.
Oh, you voted against?
I think it's so ugly. Look at it. I mean, there's wires everywhere. We had such a beautiful city, and now it's like ruined with this ugly thing. I wanted a bus.
You want it was okay.
Yeah. No wires.
But if you say it wasn't your decision, how does it then get into the approval?
Because the majority wanted it. I don't decide as the mayor.
So democracy.
Democracy, yes. That's how it happens.
So even if you're a mayor,
Even if I'm a mayor, I can't make the decisions on my own.
my God, that is point for us.
Yes. But I can't make the decisions on my own.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that would make things so much easier, wouldn't it?
Why can't it be a dictatorship?
Yes, why can't it be a dictatorship? No, that would be a bad idea.
I've been in this country for close to 7 years right now, and I've always considered myself off from these political discussions or anything that regards to politics, because I am not aware about this. Plus, I was not interested in knowing this because it was too off from what I do. I'm primarily concerned about my work and my livelihood. Being in the country for 7 years, now I thought, okay, I should know something that happens because it affects my daily life in a good, and also it could be something that I need to be aware of. So let's start from this very basic, fundamental thing. that internationals need to know, which is, are they eligible to vote in elections in general? And if yes, and what is this election? And we are now in November 2nd. It's election time as well.
Yeah.
So walk us through on what internationals are eligible for.
So if you live in Denmark and you're a permanent resident and you're from one of the European countries, then you can vote the day you set foot in Denmark, basically. If you're not a European citizen, if you come from somewhere else, and if you've lived here for 4 years in a row, then you're actually able to vote for the local elections.
Okay.
Not for the national elections. You have to be a Danish citizen in order to vote for the national elections. But at the local level, after 4 years, you can actually vote. And I think that's a very good idea to actually be interested in local politics for that reason also. Not just because it affects your everyday life, but also because you can actually affect the outcome of the election.
But that's the point. So I've been in this country now 4 years. I'm technically eligible. My next question is, if we have to decide on something, we also see, I mean, I come from Gentofte commune. Compared to Gentofte, Lyngby has a lot of initiatives within international. For example, you have this DTU university, which primarily attracts international students. There's also companies like Covi, where I worked before. It's also a very big international company. What is the focus for Lyngby when it comes to balancing this Danish values versus the international requirements?
Well, we do have a lot of international citizens living here in Lyngby, and we've had that for many years. So I think it's part of our it's part of who we are. We've tried through the City of Knowledge to make some initiatives to welcome international citizens, to make it easier also for spouses. That's where we see the largest challenge for internationals coming here. It's not the one who got the job, it's the one following. So the one who isn't integrated in the workforce, but has to find another way of actually being part of our local community. And I think that's something we should be very aware of. If you ask me what is the easiest way to get to know the Danes and to become part of the local society, it's definitely to join an association or a local club.
And what does
so
that
if
mean?
you have like an interest, if you like to play soccer, or if you like to
like badminton, for example,
play badminton or sing in a choir or whatever your interest is, there will always be some kind of association or club in Denmark that will have that exact purpose. And in that association or club, you will meet other Danes. And that is a great way of being part of the local community, I think. Of course, if you have children and they go to school, you'll get to know other parents, and that's also a way to get to know people in Denmark. But I think it's very important that international citizens doesn't become like an island in the municipality, but becomes an active part of the local community. I also think it's very important that they get interested into politics and that they vote, but they should not just vote for someone else who's also a foreigner. They should look at the whole thing. So we don't get the ones who are Danes and all the others. We want it to be all of us together.
Like a homogeneous mix and not isolated, I see. So now let's get back to your vision, right? You've been a mayor since 2014, if I'm not wrong. What made you get into politics in the first place?
Oh, that's a long story. I joined a political party when I was 15, the youth club of a political party. And I did so because I had a friend who was active in politics, and she asked me if it might be something that I would be interested in. And I think I've always had a lot of opinions, and I've always liked to discuss them. So I thought, well, why not try it? And I did, and I really liked it because it was nice to be in a place where other young people were interested in politics, in society and how things are working. When you're 15, most of your classmates will be interested in a lot of other things.
So it was 15 years?
I was 15 years old,
My God, that was very young, by the way. 15, what did I do in 15?
so maybe I was a bit strange, I don't know. So I think that was a great place to sort of get to know other young people who had similar interests and to get to know more about society and how it works. And then when I was 22, there was a local election, and the political party asked me if I wanted to run for the election. And I was like, oh, I'll try that. I didn't really think that I would be elected.
And you got elected?
I had the 13th place on the list, so pretty much not one that would be elected. But you know, I went for it, and then I got more personal votes than some of the other candidates. So I jumped on top of the list, yes.
My God.
So I got elected as the third mandate for my political party.
At the age of 22?
Yes.
So how far has your political career, if you sum up in, how many years have you been active in politics? 15.
I've been a member of the city council.
I'm trying to guess your age now.
Yeah, I know. So I was 22 when I got elected for the first time, and I've been a city council member for 24 years now.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's consistency, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, cool.
So actually for more than half of my life, I've been a city council member. And for the last 12 years, I've been the mayor.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so that you know, I had a chat with one of my colleagues the other day, and I asked about your name, and and he's a Dane, he's a very old Dane. The first thing he said is, she's been really good, and that's the first word he said. He didn't even think about it, but that shows the impact in general. As an international, I get this as well, right? Now, that is good to know, your political career. Now, stemming off to another angle, now that in 2025, there are more internationals compared to, I assume, less internationals back in like 20 years ago. How does this dynamic affect your decision making and policy making? Because you have to put some initiatives that balances both these groups. Where do you see, what is your goal for the next year, upcoming years?
I don't think I have a specific goal for international citizens because I want to treat them like everyone else. But we do have some initiatives that speaks into the agenda you're talking of. For instance, in one of our schools, we've made an international class. So from 7th, 8th and 9th grade, you can go to an international class where most of the education will take place in English.
Wow.
And of course, that's something we've done because we know we have so many internationals living here. If we were allowed, we would have done it from kindergarten and all the way up. But the legislation in Denmark doesn't allow that. So we're not allowed to have an entirely English-speaking school. But we can do it in 7th, 8th and 9th grade, where we can make most of the education in English. And then, of course, we still have to teach them Danish, but a more international angle. And that's something we've done to accommodate some of the international citizens living here.
Some of the politicians have some slogans for their campaign this year. What is your focus in general? I could not... I see your banner, there's something written, but
something's written, yes. It's more than one slogan. So
some Danish phrases for me to practice as well.
Well, I think for me, it's very important that we preserve and take care of the city that we have and that we love. So I'm not one that will revolutionize Lyngby Taarbæk. I want to develop Lyngby Taarbæk so that we maintain some of the values that I appreciate. So I want us to be green. I want us to have open areas, lots of trees. That's part of our DNA. I want us to have a vibrant city center where there's a lot of businesses and where people actually enjoy coming. And I think we have that today. But of course, with e-commerce and things like that, it's more challenging to have a business today than it was 20 years ago. So if we have to compete in the future, we need to do things differently. So I want to make changes, but changes that will make sure that we can keep the things that we appreciate, not to make us something else. And I think that's sort of the main focus.
If I ask you, so local boutiques, for example, replacing by e-commerce, your concern is to preserve that?
My concern is to preserve a vibrant city center. And I know that I can't make people go here and shop if they want to shop online. That's not going to happen. But we can do some other things, and we can't control the rental situation or anything else. That's a private matter. But for instance, we can make it easier to have a place where people can go and eat. So and serving outside, for instance, that's something that we can actually regulate. Also, if we have a place where we can build something new, we can try to build more housing in the center of Lyngby. Lyngby is a bit of a strange city because we have a lot of businesses and boutiques here, but we don't have a lot of people living here. They will live around the city center, but not in the city center. And of course, if you want a vibrant city center, people need to live there as well. So I think that a bit more housing in central Lyngby would be a good idea. But I don't want more housing in our green areas. I want to keep them green. So it's about developing in the right places and for the right reasons.
Got it. If you could teach me how to pronounce, because I've been pronouncing Lyngby the wrong way. So if you could, and the second word I don't dare
I think you're doing Lyngby quite well, actually.
One of the girls who challenged me, she's a teenage girl, I said, it shouldn't be Lyngby, it has to be something else. So for the sake of the audience, and also to sum up.
I would say Lyngby.
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 And then the second word is difficult, right?
Taarbæk.
Taarbæk.
Taarbæk is very difficult because it has two letters that are not in any other alphabet. So it has the double A, which is initially an O, so an A with a circle above it, and then it has the E, which is an A and an E put together.
Yeah.
So it has two letters that are very difficult to pronounce for foreigners.
Yeah.
So it's Taarbæk.
I think I know this because there's a surname called Sunago.
Yeah.
And they usually add G-A-A, but they pronounce it as Go.
Yeah. So that's because back in old times, the O wouldn't exist, it would be double A. And then at some point the double A was substituted by the O.
But we still see that double A as a community.
It's primarily in names.
Names, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's names that have been there before that the O was introduced.
Got it. Okay.
So, but as a Dane, you'll know exactly, if you see two A's, you'll know it's pronounced as an O.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I have no clue, but the next thing that I look up to is just go and vote in Ghent of Day. I have to figure out who I should vote for.
Yeah, that's
the next step.
That's the next step, yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the political parties, at least I know that we have done that in Lyngby, in my party, we actually translated our electoral material into English. So on our website, you can find our entire program in English as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's something we've done because we have so many international citizens.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone else has done the same, but I think it's a very good idea. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think it was wonderful.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Swerve. Thank God I will legit swerve. Thank God I will legit swerve.
2022, that was the reason why I came to Denmark in the first place. Whenever I come to Lyngby, it always brings me this nostalgic feeling that my first ever space that I've lived in Denmark, so it's bringing me good feeling.
What it means to find your dreams, and I wonder.
And I'm back on my grind. A psychic read my lifeline, told me in my lifetime my name will help light up the Chicago skyline. And that's why I'm 7 o'clock, that's prime time. Heaven to watch God calling from the hotlines. Why you keep giving me hotlines?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. Anguri padai puriyala vonne nambi varene. இந்த காட்டு பைய ஒரு ஆட்டுக்குட்டி போல வாம் பின்ன சுத்துறனே.
That's a very, very weird.
What did you say? Below.
But that's like saying rød grød med fløde. Rød grød med fløde. Yeah, that's
the
what we usually that's what we usually teach for sort of
teach foreigners, not teach foreigners.
Both things actually, I think.
No, I like the word.
But saying rød grød med fløde, it's a dish. Okay. It's basically it's like red berries that are cooked and then you eat them with cream on top. But the letters that are used in that word are so difficult to pronounce for foreigners because it has like the rød grød med fløde, so it's got the same as in rødovre. Yeah.